Welcome back to Safeco Field as the Mariners get ready to take on our White Sox in the first of a 4-game set. And right now, let's check out Ricky Renteria's starting lineup for tonight's game. Leading off, been playing some really good baseball, Leury Garcia. Sanchez second, he's been playing some really good. Cabrera, Abreu, Garcia, Frazier, Anderson, Davidson, and the catcher Omar Narvaez. There you see Yolmer with a 6-game hitting streak. Mariners on the field from left to right. Boog Powell, Jared Dyson, Ben Gamble. Around the horn, Seager, Segura, Mater, Valencia, and the battery of Carlos Ruiz and rookie Sam Gaviglio.
And our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher for the Mariners is Sam Gaviglio. At his AAA numbers, 5 games started, 2-3 with a good 3.31 earned run average in the Pacific Coast League. That's pretty good. He's given up 31 hits in 32 2/3. Good control, so you're going to have to swing early in the count against him. He's only walked 3 while striking out 16.
I'm so happy you said that. As we check out the umpires, you hit it right on the head. Guy with good control, swing early in the count. Get him early.
Why not?
Why be 0-2? You know.
We spent our whole careers 0-2, didn't we?
Played 9 years like that.
It's tough to hit that way.
I'm the poster child for 0-2.
Well, you know, the thing is, too, Hawk, when you got the better the pitcher is, the sooner you better get out of that batter's box. Now, I'm not saying that Gaviglio is going to be a world beater tonight, but he does have pretty good control. And you get that first pitch fastball where you like it, you might as well hit it hard someplace.
Well, it's that old saying in baseball. Everything you got to get in a hurry. Good ones, you got to get them in a hurry or you won't go get them. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. So here's Leury. Leury comes in at 301, 4 homers, 14 knocked in. Outfield for the most part straight up. And the first pitch of the ball game. Oh boy, and dimensions here at Safeco Field. 331 down the left field line, 326 down the right field line, 380 in right center, 376 in left center, and 401 dead away center. But it's a good hitter's ballpark since they brought the fences in because of that low fence. Oh boy, there's a hot shot fielded nicely by Valencia.
There's a hang with him for you. Boy, Leury had 2 really good swings on 2 pitches. Breaking ball right there, 1 hop. Wrong spot, wrong guy.
So here's Yolmer. On a 6-game hitting streak, comes in at 333, a couple of homers, 11 knocked in. Now Valencia comes in at the cut of the grass, now backs up a couple of steps, now comes in. And you got Seager then on the grass at third. Last year, these two teams met 7 times, and our guys won 4 of them. There's the strike. And the count 1-1. Pat Hoberg behind the plate. Drake at first, Wagner at second, and Davis, the crew chief, over at third. That's a can of corn. And that's out number 2. And let's check out our picks to click tonight. Fans took Cabrera. Cruz going with Frazier. Wimpy went with Leury. And David Novak and all the great folks that Boogie Hyundai and I and Downers Grove, we're going to go with Sanchez.
Good for you. My Georgia Jackets, part of my team tonight. Jerry Coffey, our coach, and they're playing a big tournament this weekend at East Cobb, Georgia. Arkaroo.
Yeah, this is a week for big tournaments.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of my grandsons, they're going to Indianapolis for a big tournament over there tomorrow. Cabrera at 243, a couple of homers, 16 knocked in. And for those of you who are just tuning in, Steve Stone, my partner, will not be here for this series. And joining me is my former partner of 10 years, Wimperoo Tom Pachorik. Might be now down in Atlanta area. Does a lot of work with little leaguers throwing BP. How's your arm?
Great.
That
the only thing that doesn't hurt.
1, 2, 3 after half inning of play. It's our guys nothing, and their guys coming to bat. Starting lineup. There you see the shortstop, Gene Segura, having a good start. Then Gamble, $2.99. Cruz, who's the DH, he's hot. Seager, Valencia, Powell, Motter, Jared Dyson, and Carlos Ruiz, the veteran receiver. From left to right in the outfield for us, Cabrera, Garcia. Around the horn, Frazier, Anderson, Sanchez, Abreu, and the battery of Omar Narvaez, and 25-year-old right-hander Dylan Covey.
He's our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher. Covey trying to get that first win. He did have 9 strikeouts his last game, so throw out those numbers right there. Improvement coming on.
Yeah, he looked like a different guy last time out. He's got to be pinpoint. There's no question about that. When he keeps the ball from the thigh down. But the funny thing about those 9 strikeouts, not a lot, but a few came on high fastballs up out of the zone. Segura, last year at Arizona, hit .319, 20 homers, and drove in 64 while getting 203 hits.
Amazing, yeah. I was really surprised when they got him in a trade for Taijuan Walker, and they also got that Haniger, who was playing great in right field for him before he got hurt. When he comes back, and of course Robinson Cano comes back, that lineup for the Mariners is going to be really formidable.
Well, Cano, one of the best players in the game, and he was off to a big start for him. His pitch fouled away, but you had to give up something pretty good to get this guy. Taijuan Walker got a chance for a good pitch.
Yeah. Well, I like a guy with 200 hits, though. 16-game hitting streak. You see what he's done, almost .390. I love the way he holds his hands. They're low. And as you talked about so often, like he loads up by going his hands up and back. Short, compact.
That is the way to do it for most people. Of course, that's the great thing about baseball. They come in all sizes and shapes and all kinds of swings. You know, if you go to Cooperstown and didn't know who some of those pitchers were, and you saw a video of them playing, you said, that guy can't play. That guy can't hit. That guy can't pitch. Meanwhile, Cooperstown.
Yeah, how can you spread your hands on a bat, Ty Cobb?
Isn't that amazing? Probably the most hated man ever to put a uniform on. And the reason he was hated is because he was mean and he beat you.
Yeah.
So here's Gamble. Hitting at .299. He's 25 years old. Last year in 40 at-bats with the M's, hit 200 with a homer.
Well, he's one of those guys getting the opportunity to play with Haniger on the disabled list. So a lot of opportunities all around baseball for youngsters.
There's there's a base hit. Well, it's just been crazy the amount of DLs. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's really out of hand. I know there's. You know, you can never say, well, this guy's just faking it or he's just whatever, because you don't have what he says he has. But if you look at in 2015, there were almost 29,000 DL days. Last year, there were almost 30,000. This year, we're already close to over 6,000, and we're going to waltz right on by the 30,000. So it's just growing and growing and growing.
It's amazing as these guys get bigger and stronger, the injuries just keep increasing too.
They don't have enough fat on them.
That's what Booter Boy said. Mark Hill, you can't pull fat.
That hits him, bounces over. Yomer's right there to recover.
Uh-oh.
And that is a hang wolf'em right there for Nelson Cruz, who has been swinging that bat. But Dylan.
We're going to have a timeout here as Rick Renteria going out to check on his pitcher. That ball hit him solidly.
And that ball was hit very hard by a very strong man.
Dr. Herm Schneider.
One thing about Dillon's we've seen, he's a tough kid.
Yeah, I think it looks like right ankle. It almost looked like Sanchez still had a chance to get Gamble at second, but he chose to make the sure out at first.
And let's take another look at it.
Well, he got his arms extended right there and a rocket.
That's a better look right here. Off the knee.
Knee? Oh my goodness. That's kind of smart. Oh, he's going to stay in there. You said he was tough.
He is. He's a competitor. He's, you know, when he's got a chance. I don't think he's ready yet, but he's got a chance to be a major league pitcher. Just 25 years old. He needs some more experience, but if he gets that experience, then yeah, he can pitch in the big leagues. Most of the time when you talk about a guy in that vein, what you're talking about is he's got to learn how to make mistakes, not you're always going to make mistakes, so you forget about that concept. But he's got to learn how to make a mistake where it doesn't hurt him that much. For an example, if you're going to throw a fastball, trying to get it up, if you miss up. Trying to get it in, if you miss in.
Well, a lot of people thought highly of him coming out of high school. He was drafted in the first round, 14th pick overall by Milwaukee.
Yeah. There's a strike. 1-1 to count.
Tell you what, even early in the game, Seager scares me being a left-handed hitter against Dillon. I think I'd rather take my chances with Valencia, who is certainly a lot more pitchable.
Well, Seager certainly is a better hitter than Valencia.
Yeah. It's good off speed right there. Had him way out in front.
Seager last year, 30 homers, drove in 99. Signed a huge contract a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did. His brother's a pretty good player too, isn't he? Wow.
I don't know the last time I read about Kyle.
Yeah, really? Oh, yeah, I heard him.
Todd cuts.
Come on, Todd.
Right.
Attaboy.
Makes a catch, and hopefully that knee will be all right. Meanwhile, after 1-0 score.
presented by State Farm. And now let's take a look at a homer yesterday. It's pretty unbelievable by Jose Abreu. StatCast powered by AWS lets us take a look at StatCast. And Jose, he just golfed this one out there, Hawker. It looked like one of your 2 irons.
One-handed.
Look at this. Yeah, one-handed. 1.35 feet off the ground.
That was a pretty impressive show of power right there.
How far did that one travel? Over 400.
Yeah.
Appeared.
Probably went about 410, somewhere along there. I don't remember what they put up.
424.
Some of these measurements they're putting up, I'd like to buy some lumber from some of those guys. Abreu, 7 homers, 21 knocked in. All 7 of those home runs coming on the road. And that's pretty amazing considering the park we play.
Right. Well, Jose looks thinner to me than last year, isn't he, Hawk?
Yeah. He is. He's picking up where he left off in the last part of the season. First part of the season last year, he's awful.
Yeah.
Couldn't get anything going, and then he started picking it up, and he became very, very dangerous the last couple of months, and he's picked up now. He's, as you well know, against major league pitching, you're not going to hit all the time. But you know what you can do? You can be dangerous most of the time. And that's where he is right. He's he's like Nelson Cruz. Cruz is right now a dangerous hitter, like Albert Pujols and Mike Trout. They are dangerous hitters.
Yeah, at any time, those guys are capable of breaking a game wide open.
Well, you can do that when you're dangerous, but when you're thinking back in here in the mechanical area, you know, in the House of Demons, then it just prolongs it. That ball into right center field. Gamble. And once again, for those of you just tuning in, sitting in for Steve Stone for this series will be my former partner, Tom Paciorek. Tom was a real fine major league player for the youngsters out there. He's got the ice pack on it. That's good. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Wimpy also was an All-American defensive back at the University of Houston. Was drafted by the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins.
Thank God he didn't play. You imagine what I'd feel like now?
You played your whole senior year with a fractured leg.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, that was 4 years I did that, but that wasn't real smart.
No, it was. There's a strike to Avi. 348, 6 homers, 28. First thing that people were asking me about down in Anaheim, what about Avi? First thing that I walked into this ballpark today, what about Avi? I said he's having fun. He's not thinking too much. He's going up there and he's having some fun. He's gotten, and when you can do that, when you keep, one of the biggest things about major league players, not all of them, but a lot of them, Wimpy, as you know, you were in the baseball a long time. Most of your real good hitters and real good players in the major leagues have retained their childlike qualities. They didn't lose it. A lot of guys do. And when you see a guy losing it, now there have been some good players who lost their childlike qualities. They just had so much talent, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of guys, when they lose those childlike qualities, that's a downward spiral.
Yeah, that's true. You play baseball, you don't work baseball. If you're not having fun playing the game, you're not going to do well for a long time.
No. That's a good way to put it. You play the game, you don't work it. So that's out number 2.
Well, Todd is another skinny guy, isn't he, Hawk? But he's got sick, and that's how he lost weight.
Well, that's right. That's a different story there.
Looks really thin right now.
He looks a heck of a lot better than he did.
Wow.
I mean, he looked not too good there for a while.
He's a battler, though. He'll come out and compete regardless of how he's feeling.
You better believe he is a competitor. Want to know the count?
he's earned this 2-0 count. Might as well take a good rip at something, inner half. Slider.
In a good spot. Pitchers. That's the pitcher's pitch there.
Yeah. Not saying, why did he throw that pitch? That's not what I was looking for. He was looking dead red. And look at the late movement going down. I guess you'd call that a hard slider.
2-1 delivery. Well, they're not going to catch that one.
Nope.
That's in the gap.
He's thinking 3. Thank God he came to his senses. That was a good job of hitting right there, taking advantage of a bad pitch. The previous one was a good break, and well, this is a hanger. And this is the one you got to hit hard, and Todd does. See it? Up, out over the plate, lets the ball get a little bit deep, hands before the barrel of the bat. And that's a nice job of hitting. Splits the defense.
And here's Anderson hitting at .238, 3 homers, 8 knocked in. Went over to say goodbye to a couple of guys last night. That pitch up and in. And boy, they all said one thing. Oh, that's a different looking ball club. Those guys play hard. Real hard. And you love to hear that from the opposition.
And I think that's the ultimate compliment you can give to a manager, because he's getting these guys to go out there and do it every inning, not giving up, not taking any bad things out to the field that you might be experiencing offensively. And yeah, every game that I have seen, there's been a lot of high energy.
Mike Scioscia was really impressed. As that pitch is fouled away, he said those guys are busting it down the line. And I told Mike, I said, yeah, well, you know, Mike, the way your club runs to first base can define a club. It can define an organization. I said, one of the reasons you've been around so long is because I have never seen one of your guys dog it down the line.
Yeah.
He said, well, thank you. You know, and I said, well, it's just the way it is. Two out. The 1-2. 2-2.
He's got a pretty good slider. You know, Mike Scioscia came out of the Tommy Lasorda school too, and you know, I think Tommy had a big influence on his playing as well as his managing.
Tommy Lasorda had a big influence, positive influence on many players, many young players.
Yeah, his teams always played hard, and that was a tribute to Tommy. Get in there.
That's caught by Segura. So we have a 2-out double go by the boards after an inning and a half, no score.
White Sox MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com Sox to learn more. Member FDIC. All right, bark in the park.
I love Dog Day.
They're great, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Nice, cool night for the dog. They're really enjoying it. You can see he's a great fan.
Here's Valencia.
If you like dogs, Hawk, and if you love dogs like I do, see that movie, The Purpose of Dogs? You'll cry like a baby. I know I did. I watched it last night on the plane trip coming over here. The Purpose of Dogs.
Well, it's as Valencia hitting 244, 4 homers, 16 knocked in. Outside of family, one of the saddest days of my life was we had Spike, who was a Yorkie, for 14 years. And on Christmas morning, I had to take him to the vet and have him put down. He was in my arms when they put the shot in. And that's outside of family, that's probably the hardest that I've cried in my life.
Yeah. They're our best friends, without a doubt.
Well, you come home, you've had a bad day for whatever, even if you're a player or on the golf course. Like I've had many bad days on the golf course and lost a lot of money. I come home. Spike was right there for him.
Look at him. That is really a great event.
Oh, come on. He's there.
Good job. I just show you the speed of Avisail Garcia. He did not get a real good jump on that ball. And it's that, that twilight is now real present. So it's tough to get a good jump, and he just outran the ball.
Yeah, that's good makeup speed there.
Ooh. Don't run into him either.
Here's Boog Powell, 24 years old, 2 for 8 since being called up. Takes first pitch strike. If foul, it will. Right size, wrong shape.
Well, Covey made a good pitch right there. That slider was down and in. It looked like it was off the plate. So the only place he's going to hit that ball, if he hits it hard, is foul, which he did.
Well, he can hit it hard off that shin.
That's another good place. Yeah, he'll be barking.
Yeah.
You talk about bark in the park.
And Sox fans, a reminder: join us on Memorial Day, May 29th, as our Sox take on Boston Red Sox at 1:10. Sale, of course, will be in attendance, and all kids 13 and under will receive a White Sox patriotic sunglass, pair of them, presented by Bright Star College Savings. So get your White Sox patriotic sunglasses, presented by Bright Star College Savings. And you can get those tickets by visiting whitesox.com/brightstar529.
Well, Chris Sale's been pitching some great baseball, getting a minimum of 10 strikeouts a game. Not a whole lot of support yet.
No, Chris is what Rick Hahn, with those 2 pieces of his puzzle, so to speak, on trying to improve his ball club. What he did with that's foul by Adam Eaton and Chris Sale.
Right.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Wasn't good, it was phenomenal. One of the best 2 deals I have ever seen on a 2-player move.
Wow.
To receive back. Ball hit right at him.
Thank you.
Hang Wolfham, and that'll retire the side. Winner of the 3rd, no score.
That's on later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on CFU in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Cedar Falls?
Yes.
And they've got a lot of my money in Cedar Falls.
I bet they do. Just want to welcome back Michael Charles back from the Peace Corps, serving people all over the world. What a great job those kids do. It's amazing. So
Yeah.
welcome back, Michael. He's back in Chicago.
Yes, it is. Here's Davidson. This kid's got a chance, won't he?
I know he's got some power.
He got big power. He's got big power. And he's got good mechanics, so he doesn't have to worry about those. That's one thing that, that's one thing that sort of bothers me. You see young, powerful kids come in. They have good mechanics. They have a good swing. They're not getting the job done. So all of a sudden now they change the mechanics, change the swing a little bit, and now it's like digging a hole a little deeper. If you got it, it's like golf. If you got a good swing, you don't have to worry about that swing. You own it. What you got to worry about is in front of the ball, not behind the ball.
Those are great words of wisdom right there, because I can't even tell you. I took a bad swing and I'd automatically change my stance. Oops. Pretty good pitch. Didn't get it.
Right.
No, he didn't.
He did not get it. That was a strike.
Yeah, one pitch I was Yaz. Next pitch I might be Reggie Jackson.
That was the culture.
We impersonated all the hitters of that day. Al Kaline was my guy,
Oh boy, that was a good one to try to emulate.
Now, who did you try and
I'll tell you who it was, and irony. It was an irony to this story. It was Gil Hodges. And finally, I got to the big leagues, and I played for Hodges, and I couldn't stand him. I hated him. We almost got in 2 fights. But always, when I was a kid coming up in high school, and then even in the minor leagues, I always tried to emulate Gil Hodges. Watch out.
Oh, boy.
I think that's safe. I think they hit a seat.
Lord.
So
he was left with a handle.
Narvaez, Omar, hitting at 217. Yeah, but that was what we all did back in those days. You emulated somebody.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, Huck. All those guys had kind of simple stances, really, but they were uniquely their own. Nowadays, you got these toe tapping and leg kicking and wraparound swings that, boy, they're hard to define.
Well, the biggest thing is the thought process. Talking with Dave Hansen, the Angel hitting coach, and then also Mike, as I mentioned, Socia. I feel there's this change coming from the conversations I'm having with other guys from other organizations. I feel there's this change coming in what's going on in baseball right now as far as hitting goes.
Well, one of the things that disturbs me most is the alarming amount of strikeouts.
And that's in the left field. Hit well by Omar. Well, those have become an accepted part of the game now.
Yeah.
Those were not acceptable 50 years ago.
Yeah. If you struck out 100 times, 50 years ago, that was like a curse to you.
Well, it was, unless you were going to hit, 30 or 40 home runs.
Exactly, yeah.
Today you got infielders, punch and Judy hitters that are striking out 100 times.
Yeah. And 200 is the new 100.
Well, it's like innings.
That's true, yeah.
300 was a mark. Now it's down to 200. And you're having very few guys reach 200.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that page, one of the reasons that I've stayed in this game so long and love it so much is because these young players are better than we were. Our superstars would have been superstars today. They would have been superstars 100 years from now. But the average player like you and I, these guys are better than we were. And Wimpy was a good player. But these guys coming in, they're bigger, stronger.
Oh, yeah.
And faster. And yet they don't steal as many bases as we did.
Why is that?
They go on the DL a lot more than we win. How many times you ever on a DL?
A couple of times, but you know, a broken hand, that sort of thing.
A broken bone.
Yeah, broken bone.
That was the formula. Don't go on a DL unless you got a broken bone.
Yeah.
Only time I
Well, you didn't
on.
want to tell too many people you were hurt either.
No. I was on the DL one time, and that's when I broke my leg and dislocated my ankle.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you weren't going to dodge that one.
No.
But my first year in major leagues was in '73, and we had no injuries with the Dodgers. And in '74, we had one injury. Tommy John had Tommy John surgery, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now the injury du jour seems to be obliques, lats, and hamstrings this year coming back.
Yeah, the last few years, oblique was obsolete, and in the last few years, it became rampant.
Yeah.
I played 6 years with a bad oblique.
You know it, right? It hurt then, huh?
Yeah. Last 6 years I played with a bad oblique.
And you were wondering, what is that? I didn't know what an oblique was until I heard of it maybe 5, 6 years ago.
That's right. We never heard of a labrum or a rotator cuff.
Yeah.
In my time zone. Never heard that one time, ever.
You think Drysdale may have pitched with a torn rotator cuff?
He pitched the whole season with a broken hand. His right hand. He was a right-handed pitcher. Never missed a turn.
Well, that's like having John Wayne on the mound every night.
That's right.
The Duke. What a guy.
The story about Drysdale and the broken hand was they were at a party, the Dodgers, and he and Al Ferrara, the Bull, got into an argument.
Oh, great.
And Bull was a tough guy.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't as big and maybe quite as tough as Drysdale, but they got into an argument. So big Frank Howard comes over to break it up. So he grabbed Don. He said, "Come on, Donnie." You know how Frank was.
Yeah.
Come on, Donnie. Come on, Donnie. Ease up. Come on. So Drysdale was on. He says, "Hondo, take your hands off me." "Come on, Donnie. Come on, Donnie." All of a sudden, Drysdale hit him with his right hand and broke his hand. Never missed a turn. There he goes. And that's going to be a souvenir left side. Yolmer went out to left field his first trip. No, but I love watching these kids play. You know, I've told our fans who love Louis Aparicio as I did. He was the best shortstop I ever played against in my time zone. And there are 5 shortstops in the American League better than Louis was right now. 5 young shortstops.
Oh, there's some great ones.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I really like that Lindor from Cleveland.
Kidding me.
All around. Spectacular.
Bogarts in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Correa in Houston. I mean, they just keep coming. The talent. Baseball is so well positioned now to be so successful and so much fun for fans for going forward. Then in my lifetime in this game, I've been in this game 57 years now. This is the best positioning baseball's ever had going forward with talent. And baseball is built on 3 things. It's built on great players, it's built on rivalries, and it's built on tradition. And when you get great players, you're going to have a lot of interest in baseball, a lot of fun watching.
There are a lot of fun shortstops out there. You know, the best one I saw was Ozzie Smith. The years that I played, but he was the greatest defensive shortstop in my mind. But you know, compared to offensively, nothing to these guys.
That's foul. Well, the biggest thing in the shortstops today is, and Little Louie was a great shortstop, and he had, I think, 60. When David Ross told me, I think he had 63 home runs. Maybe a little more, but it's like a 260 lifetime hitter.
Right.
These guys today, all these guys that I talked about, better than him, they all have much bigger guns, better arms.
Yeah.
Pitch out. Somebody was reading somebody's mail. He's
Whoa.
safe. Yes.
Great jump by Liuri. Sometimes you outrun the gun. Chuch Ruiz behind the plate for the M's. You're right, Hawk. They guessed right. He made a, let's see, well, the throw just a little bit up the line there at first base side. And Segura can, no.
Nope, he's safe. Now pick him up, Yolmer.
4 stolen bases now for Garcia.
Throws him, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the third, no score. Located in right field. Now the Craft Cave features over 75 craft beers. Also a full bar menu including craft burgers and a lively atmosphere for all fans. For an additional charge, you can sit in the bullpen porch, a 2-tiered open air section above the visiting bullpen, and that's throughout the game. So for more information, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Ball hit deep into right field. Jared Dyson looking for it, got it, and it is 1-0 Seattle. Just his second home run.
Well, he didn't waste any time. I've always liked this Jared Dyson. When he was with Kansas City, he didn't get a whole lot of playing time during their winning years over there. He's got a chance to play a lot here. Here's our Ford home run replay. It's like a fastball pretty much down the middle, kept his hands back, head behind the ball very nicely. He had everything out front, Hawk. That was a great swing.
Grip it and rip it. That's what he did. That's like tee time right there, putting it on the tee. So here's a veteran, 38-year-old veteran, Carlos Ruiz, who's been a good player in his career. Dyson always hurt us, but he did it with his legs.
Yeah. Ruiz had a fine career with Philadelphia. Then he was traded last season to the Dodgers midway through the season. And now he signs on as a free agent with the Mariners. Not a whole lot of hitting going on by these catchers. You see his career batting average at 264. So he should be a big help to the younger pitchers that the Mariners have right now. Gosewich and Zunino not hitting anything for Seattle.
Mariners, I'll tell you what, they've been wearing it this year as far as starting pitching injuries go.
Oh boy. Well, coming up to the plate right now is Gene Segura, 27-year-old shortstop. And our mini player profile, his first season with the Mariners is this year, acquired from the D-backs. And he had 203 hits last year, led the National League. All-Star in 13 with the Brewers, and played one game with the Angels in 2012.
All right, boys. Rack them up. 35th double play turn by our Sox.
Well, Segura looked like he was trying to hit that hole between first and second. Nice one. But Timmy Anderson looks like he's done this a while.
That's exactly what Segura was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, he was thinking about that hole.
Yep.
Sanchez was right there.
Here's Gamble. He lays a single in the right field.
Sox don't do a whole lot of shifting, do they, Hawk?
More than anybody in baseball.
They do?
Yeah, we're the #1 shifting team in baseball. This is just the first game you've seen.
Yeah.
You know, personally.
Right.
You know, we were leading up until, well, let me put it this way, up until last week, we were the #1 shifting team in baseball.
Nice.
Good play. I tell you, that little guy just keeps getting better and better. But the home run is 1-0 bad guys. Guaranteed rate. Your mortgage, your way. Go to rate.com for a low rate. Cabrera, Abreu, and Avi here in the top of the fourth. Mariners lead it 1-0 on the homer by Jared Dyson, his second of the season. Outfield shifted to the left, about equidistant. Curveball catches the upper part of the zone.
That's pretty standard right there. No shifting going on for Malkin. That's what you want to hit. You want to be able to. So many guys are, the left-handed hitters in particular, just get themselves out. And everybody's on the right side of the field, and they hit it right into the shift.
Well, this year, the shift has been really beneficial to us. And there's an error there because of the shift. You're starting to see. I saw something today that Joe Mauer was talking about why the Twins are playing much better baseball this year. He says it's because we're catching the ball. There's a shot right to. That's a hang whooping. And that's been the first rule in baseball for over 100 years. Catch the ball. They're not giving other teams 4 and 5 outs in an inning. In the major leagues, at this level, if you're going to get 27 outs and you're going to play against a team and you're going to give them 29, 30 outs, you're probably going to lose.
Right.
Abreu went out to right field. There's a chopper.
Oh,
that's questionable.
I don't know if it was very close play, and it looked to me like from our angle that Valencia was not on the bag. I don't know if
I thought the throw just beat him, but from where we're sitting, it looked like he. Let's take another look at it. The throw just did beat him.
Yeah, and his foot was on the base.
Yeah.
Huh. Good job by Valencia.
So here's Avi. Got it out to third. But you know, you talk about the defense, and it just amazes me over the years how that has been the least appreciated segment of the game of baseball. People always, they want to see home runs, they want to see, good pitching defense, pitching offense, and winning baseball. Offense puts let's put this behind the seats.
Yes.
Defense wins championships.
That's a good point. Yeah. And that's a great point about the Twins. Obviously, they're doing something right. There's a pretty good defensive players. That big old guy at third base, that's Sano.
Have you seen him throw?
Yeah. He's scary.
I can tell you, he can throw. Wow.
He can hit, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, they just did the stats. Just came out the other day that he hits the ball harder more often than anybody in Major League Baseball, which is hard to believe. But that's what they said.
He's one of the bigger guys in Major League Baseball, too. The Judge hits it pretty good, too, from the Yankees.
He hit one against us. That's foul. And that's the reason I was thinking about that when I made that remark a couple innings ago about how they're judging these distances. You know? He hit one, I think they judged it at 463 feet or something. And the ball had to go close to 500 feet.
Sure.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. In my career, I've seen a lot of 500 footers. I've hit a few, but I said then, told Stoney, one day on the day game, he's going to catch it right where that wind's blowing out slightly. It didn't have to be a big wind, but just blowing out slightly to the left, and he's going to hit one up on that concourse out there. And then I want to see how far they call it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always thought that some of those balls that they hit, that's all. Seems like they've gone a lot farther than the indicated distance.
Yeah, but and then I said something about that last year, and then Scott Reifert, our outstanding director of communications with the White Sox for many years, because it caused Scotty to do some. There's the boy. I mean, that's in the hole. So he's going to run it. He's going to maybe
look at him
go.
go.
Yes, he is, and that big man can haul it. Wow.
Holy mackerel. I was watching him the whole way, Hawk. He was digging it. He was thinking triple from the get-go. That was a great job of hitting, too, by the way. Great two-strike hitting. He laid off a couple of tough pitches. Then he got one up and out over the plate. Watch this extension out there. Boy, that is just a great job of hitting.
He lost some weight, and he likes what he's seeing in the mirror. That mirror likes what it's seeing when he looks in there. And he's having fun. He's having fun this year.
Wow, boy, you know, we were talking before the game how he had a tendency to swing at that high fastball way out of the zone and go after the breaking ball in the dirt. Well, he's not doing that right now, and henceforth you see the numbers.
Third triple. And here's Todd. Todd doubled. Got in on him right there. Jammed him. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. It's 1-0 Mariners.
Organization as they prepare for the big stage. White Sox Cornerstones presented by Ozinga. 2 half-hour specials premiere Monday at 7 exclusively on CSN.
So here's Nelson Cruz, 0 for 1, but it was a hard 0 for 1, especially from Dylan Covey's standpoint, as that breaking ball grabs the strike. Cruz last year, 43 homers, 105 knocked in.
Boy, he's been a big-time power hitter for a long time. Plus, he complements it with a nice average.
Yeah, he's one of the few big-time power hitters that can hit high.
Yeah.
And also one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. What a gentleman he is. He's a guy like Albert Pujols. Boy, it looks to me like Pujols. I'm telling you, you ought to see his biceps.
Really?
Whew. Also, you know what I saw the other day, too? Can't get that one. That I hadn't seen in a long time. Mark McGwire. Another sweetheart.
Mark is isn't he the bench coach for San Diego?
Yeah, he's hitting coach, yeah. Boy, that shot, though, let's take a look at that shot he hit off the knee of Dylan Covey, his first at bat. Bullet.
Shows you how tough Dylan is. That was a blow. Oh, that's a nasty pitch right there. I didn't get it.
A lot of topspin on it. Meanwhile, 1 out. And join us as our Sox take on the Tigers on Saturday, May 27th at 1:10. Now, the first 20,000 fans will receive a White Sox photo book presented by CSN. And you can take a look back at The Sox in the 90s with images featuring all-time greats, the Big Hurt Frank Thomas, The Rock, Tim Raines, Bo Jackson, and more.
Oh,
maybe even a Whipperoo might be in there.
I doubt it.
So purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Now, for all you youngsters out there, Steve Stone, my partner, is not going to be here for the series, and sitting in is my former partner for 10 years, Tom Pachorik, the Wimpy Woo, who was a heck of a player. And comes from maybe certainly one of, maybe the top tier, maybe number one athletic family that I've ever heard of anywhere in this country. His brothers. Tell them about John.
Well, John was really a good athlete. He just was unfortunate. He had back surgery after playing one game in the major leagues where he went 3 for 3.
That's still a record, right?
It is the record, yeah.
And Mike voted football player of the year in Michigan?
Well, he was the greatest of all time, according to him. Sitting right next to me right now, too. So, and Jimbo was a good athlete, too. So, yeah, we were okay.
Yeah, that was a great athletic family. There's a shift.
Aha! The aforementioned shift.
Seager is retired, 2 now. Yeah, it'd be hard pressed to beat the athleticism of that Pachorik family.
We couldn't golf very well, though, as you will attest to.
Well, you could hit it a long way. Now your short game would left a little be desired. Here's Valencia.
Well, you know, one thing I like about this game going on tonight, Hawk, is the speed. Covey and Gilardo they're working quickly. They're not wasting a whole lot of time between pitches, and they're keeping their defense on their toes, and it's a good defensive game.
Our club is, even though we're 17-21, our club has been fun to watch. They don't quit. Ricky's boys do not quit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that's a state of mind.
I think I called him Gallardo. It's Gaviglio. We will see Gallardo later on in the series. Pretty good right-hander.
Two out and the 2-1 pitch.
Ball riding in. Sox think he swung at it.
I didn't think he swung it. Tell you what, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, yeah.
It could have gone either way. I didn't think it did. Boy, that's something that really upset a hitter. Strike. I'd like to have a dozen golf balls for every time I've struck out that way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. That was you know, some guys have that great knack to just stop that bat. Frank Robinson comes to mind. I think about that.
That's high and deep.
Yes.
He got it. Woo! Melky taking his time, got back there, timed it perfectly, and that'll retire the side. A beautiful timing play by Cabrera.
Some severe ups right there.
But it's still 1-0 Mariners.
inning, and here's the play that ended the fourth. Melky going up high. He really timed his jump extremely well, as Hawk explained it. So Melky with a homer saving catch, and the score is still 1-0 here in the fifth.
Anderson, Davidson, Narvaez. First pitch strike. Anderson lined out to his counterpart, Segura. You're right, Wimpy. Both these guys getting in and throwing it.
We've seen a lot of good defensive plays too, and you know one thing Gaviglio has done well is pitch inside. He's gotten a few jam sandwiches in on the hands of the hitters, and he's not overpowering. He's just in the high 80s.
You don't have to throw. You don't have to throw hard to be able to jam guys.
There's another one.
In fact, the softer tosser you are, the more you got to pitch inside. But you got to find a way and know how to pitch inside.
So he turns this one over. Obviously a two-seamer. Timmy fouls it off his left foot. Oh boy, that hurts.
A lot of time guys will say, "Hawk, get in there, take a few swings for us."
Yeah.
I said, and that's exactly why right there. The last time I was in the cage, I fouled one on my left big toe. I had to go home and get the paper clip out. Oh, you can just stick that one in your pocket.
Thank you. You couldn't have rolled that one out there any better. It's a heck of a pitch right there. It's amazing when your foot hurts. If you smell a base hit, though, you can still fly down that line as Tim Anderson did. It was a good breaking ball here, following up that inside sinker, and he just rolls over that top hand and puts it down there perfect.
That's a Cameron Maben right there.
He had one of those series, huh?
One? Oh, shoot. He had two and two at bats, and one of them beat us.
Oh boy.
So here's Davidson. He got sawed off. His first trip. Jammed himself right there. So one out, and enjoy guaranteed rate field just like a player. You can play catch in the outfield. You can warm up in the bullpens. You can visit the dugouts and much, much more. And new for this year, a premier ticket that includes hitting in the batting cages. So join us for a family field day on Saturday, June 10th, and support White Sox charities. So to purchase tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org. Here's Omar. Went out to left field. You got Seager well off the line, and even with the bag at third. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a big shout out to our absolute marvelous, wonderful crew from United Airlines. You know, we had a tough travel thing last night. Long game, over 3 hours. We had to bus it to LA to fly out of there because of the curfew of John Wayne. You know, we got in here about 4:15 in the morning, and there he goes. There's a throw. He's safe. So Anderson picks up his third stolen base. He's 3 for 3.
Got a pretty good pitch to throw on, but Ruiz didn't really snap it. Although the location of the throw turned out to be pretty good, but Tim got a great jump. Head first slide, I hate it. Was able to keep his hand and foot on the base. So he's in scoring position now with one out.
But that crew last night, I'm going to tell you, this is every trip, not just at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Every trip, you just cannot travel any better than we do. The girls and Jackie Cruz, Carolina Stevens, Danielle Stevens, Suzanne Policki, Tanya Capra, Elodie Elliott, Anna Diagata, Julie Seymour, and some of our pilots, George Hoffsummer and Mark Sanchez, and of course Joe Bonilla and Mark Seipo. Sparky, what a wonderful job they do, along with all the people at Atlantic Aviation. I mean, they just make it so easy. You just can't travel any better than that.
Beats the old days, doesn't it? Sitting in airports.
That's what we had to do. We're spending the night in airports in some cases.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'd go play the Yankees, and then we couldn't get out of there because of the curfew at LaGuardia, and then we'd have to go to New Jersey at Newark, and if we were late or they had a problem with weather, we'd have to spend the night right there in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Get out the cards, boys.
You ever try to go from Seattle to Baltimore?
No. Well,
that took forever. You can't get there from here. That's
Louis told me, Pinella, when he was mad, he told me that's the reason he got resigned from here. Travel just got to him.
Oh yeah.
These guys never have any off days. They're always traveling. And you
Yeah.
played here.
Yeah. Well, in the non-charter days too. Of course, the guys I played with, we were just happy to be here. So we.
That's all we knew.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all we knew. It didn't bother us that much. You hear more complaints today now than you did when you and I played.
I know. Lawrence, the right-hander, warming up for the M's. Yeah, you're right, Huck. Yeah. How can they go on this schedule? It's brutal. Brutal. Looks pretty good to me.
I know. When I first started playing, my first year in pro ball, we got $1.75 a day meal money.
Yeah.
And we ate off of it. We'd have to find a boarding house and go, and
Oh yeah.
then travel commercial, 6 across.
Oh yeah. And yeah, what about that seat between? Forget about it.
Now it's a row of seats you can have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I pop up. That is 2 down.
He was in the driver's seat with that 2-0 count.
I was telling you about my first year, $1.75 a day meal money. Well, we didn't have lockers. We had a nail. They had a plank nailed across the wall. They had all these nails up there. So
did they put your name on it?
No, the writing was too small. You had to hang your clothes and your uniform after you got playing on that nail.
Yeah. Well, our trainer was the bus driver. And,
yeah. Trainer, bus driver.
Yeah.
And I played that month in Olean in the New York Penn League. We had one of those little small buses, We had 18 guys, had to get the luggage on there, the equipment on there, and I was newest because I signed out of high school. I got there real late. So I had to sit on the luggage and the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And going up those mountains there, they hit him. So Liuri hit him pretty good. I'm going to shake it off.
Yeah, he wants that fastball inside, and like he might have gotten him in the oblique. Well, if you're going to get hit, you got to turn into it. So many guys like Freddie Freeman yesterday was going away from the pitch, and he broke his wrist. So he's out for 10 weeks. But you got to turn that front shoulder in. It'll hurt, but you're not going to break anything.
Boy, Freeman was off to a monster year,
wasn't
wasn't he?
Yeah, look. See how he turns in a bit, try to protect himself. Had nowhere to go. That was a heat-seeking missile.
All right, 2 out, 2 on. And here's Yolmer. He's gone out to left and then got outguessed and called out on strikes. He's 0 for 2. David Novak's pick to click. Got to be something in his motion a little bit, because he's not going to pressure with his overpowering stuff.
No, and his delivery doesn't look like it's that deceptive, but something
in there.
Yeah, the reaction of the hitters is telling us that he's doing a real good job.
Been trying to see if he was hiding the ball. It's tough to see from up here. But he does throw that glove up there and come out from behind the glove once he takes it out.
There have been a few line drives, but not that many. Now you got to fight back. 0-2.
Yeah, a lot of our guys have just been off balance, and hadn't thrown that many changeups.
Yeah, he's been basically sinker slider. That sinker working on his arm side of the plate. Yeah, the velocity isn't anything to jump up and down about. That was just 88 miles an hour. Of course, that was a waste pitch. Some speed on the bases. A gapper right here would probably score 2.
Something in there that was keeping our guys off balance.
Yep.
So that'll retire the side. We're halfway home. We trail it 1-0. Covey and Caviglio. Sam Caviglio, 26-year-old right-hander out of Miami. Neither of these right-handers have what you call overpowering stuff, and they're both pitching well.
Yeah.
You don't have to. That's for you youngsters out there. You don't have to be a flamethrower. You don't have to throw in the 90s. You got to be able to spot a fastball and have a good changeup. If you can do that, you got a chance.
You don't have to be a max effort too on every pitch. That'll get you out of a lot of ball games early. Willie Garcia in the ball game in center field.
Yeah, so take care of that. Get it X-rayed.
You can follow Dan Hayes, our White Sox insider, all season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. It's a heck of a movie. That's Steve McQueen. He was something, wasn't he?
Oh, wasn't he in that motorcycle? Tell you who's getting to be something too is Dan Hayes. Boy, he's coming up with some really good stuff. One hopper.
You.
So quickly 2 out.
There's a good example right there. He hung a breaking ball. It was the first pitch. He swung at and got an easy out. So you get away with those pitches. You don't get hammered all the time.
You know, as a rule, what I've observed over all these years is that the breaking stuff, it has hit the hardest. Come on, 3-2 counts. Getting me over breaking balls. Those getting me over breaking balls get hit hard.
Yeah.
Because the only thing they're doing now is just they think if they can spin it, they got you. And if it's just a spinner, you can go up in the light towers.
That's that's a great point too, because you're usually, if you're thinking, you're protecting away, so you're staying in, keeping that shoulder in. Chances are you can adjust to a spinner.
Yeah, you're not on 3-2. You're not thinking hard like you do on 2-0 or 3-1. You're not thinking swinging hard. Dyson homered. First pitch he saw, leading off the 3rd inning. Yeah, but you're right, Wimpy. When they get healthy, when this Seattle club gets healthy, they're going to run some. They're going to run some thunder up there at that plate. You put Cano back in there, one of the best players in the game. And I was talking to Seattle people. They say he was getting it really warmed up.
Yeah. Quadricep injury, I believe, is the one for Cano. As you see, boy, there's a good job of hitting by Dyson. He goes deep to right field. Then he lets that ball get deep on him. Hands before the barrel of the bat, and he rips it past Todd Frazier at third, who could not even react. That ball was hit hard. And this guy can run.
Here's Ruiz.
He's leaving pretty soon. He's 10 for 12 in stolen bases.
Well, he didn't have to get a Lance Johnson jump.
No.
One dog. I miss one dog. What a good guy.
Yeah.
Lance Johnson.
That's some good years for the Sox.
Swung the heaviest bat on the club.
Yeah, he did. He was strong, too.
You better believe it. He was very strong. Little guy who was very strong. You got to get the hitter. Here's where young pitchers with guys who, that's why Ricky Henderson was the greatest offensive player I've ever seen. He tore young pitchers up. They were so afraid, and they all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's 2-0, 3-1 on the hitter.
Yeah. Well, with a bat in his hand too, he intimidated too. He had such a small strike zone, and if you put it in that zone, he was going to kill it. How many leadoff homers did he hit during his career?
A bunch.
Oh.
He had a strike. What do you think? Maybe a foot, a little over a foot, foot and a half, maybe.
Yeah. Hit from that deep crouch, which you very seldom see today.
There he goes.
Pretty good job by Narvaez getting rid of that ball. And it was a breaking ball. It was a 2-0 slider. But he just outran it. Number 11 for Gerard Dyson. Well, a little bit high. I think he was going to be safe anyway.
That's his 24th stolen base against our club. In 29 attempts. Yeah, when they had Terrence Gore and Dyson, Kansas City, I'm talking about. late in the ball game. They won a ton of ball games in the 8th and 9th inning with those two guys stealing bases.
Exactly, yeah. And running the bases too, scoring from first.
There you go.
Oh no. Well, they gave it to him. Todd Frazier was playing on the grass. Ruiz is not afraid to get a big hit either. I know his numbers are not real good right now, but he's been a good high ball hitter for a long time.
Well, the thing about this, you say, well, there's 2 outs. Here, if you make a bad pitch here, or it's a wild pitch or a pass ball, and he scores, what the psychological effect on our club is not good. It's bad. And that's why you don't want to give up free bases like that.
Yeah.
You just don't want to give them up. First thing to tear a club down is bad defense. That's the first thing to tear a club down, bad defense. Next thing is getting run out of a ballpark.
Yeah, you're right. When Kansas City was in its heyday just a few years ago, they used speed as good as anybody in recent years.
Better than anybody I've seen in a long time, right? Payoff pitch. It breaks the pitcher's rhythm. Second time. Ruiz has walked. 2 walks given up by Kobe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. If that ball, if that's not a real good play by Narvaez and Dyson scores, the momentum just shifts to Seattle dramatically.
Yeah. If they don't have it already. Now here's a pretty tough out right here in Segura, leading the American League in hitting as we speak at 354.
Good pitching. Did not get it.
Yeah.
We had 2 pitches. We had 2 pitches in that Anaheim series that were not called. We had them struck out. And both times it led to big innings, and we lost those 2 games. That's hit hard and it's loud. That's what I'm talking about. It just breaks the pitcher's rhythm, and it's 4-0.
Wow. That got out of here in a hurry. Yeah, the pitch was not called, the previous one, and Segura not afraid to get a hit. He got a big 2-run single yesterday in that win over Oakland. And you can see there's a slider middle of the plate. Watch him go down and get this. Boy, look a little like Adrian Beltre going after that pitch.
That's his legs take him down.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Great job of hitting. You could see how this guy gets 200 hits.
You can see that. I can't see is there's a solid single by Gamble. He's 2 for 3. What's hard to see, though, is, as you said it earlier, you couldn't believe that Seattle was able to get him.
Yeah.
Well, when you got a shortstop that's a good shortstop and put numbers up offensively like he does, it's hard to get rid of him.
Yeah. And plus Hannigan was in on that deal too, and he was having a terrific year playing right field. He's still hitting over 300, but he's on the disabled list. So that to me was a great move by Jerry DiPoto. Try and build this Mariner team up.
Right now as it stands, when Seattle is healthy, they are formidable. They are competitive.
Well, you get Felix Hernandez back. And Smiley well, Smiley hasn't pitched all year after the World. Iwakuma.
Those three guys
Paxton.
right there. Yeah, those three guys, when they get back in there, this is going to be a tough ball club. Meanwhile, big 3-run homer, but it all started really with speed by Jared Dyson.
Podcast. Sit down with Chuck Garfien to talk about my career. You want to know about that? Okay. Flip phones and broadcasting along with the Hawkeroo. Plus Ryan McGuffey and Chris Kamka on the sudden rise of Lurie Garcia and much more. Check out the White Sox podcast today. I read that very poorly. I'm going to
that's because you got that shirt on.
Don't worry, you'll never see it again. I got to pre-read those things before I start talking about myself.
You got to pre-record them.
Here's Casey Lawrence, a new pitcher. 4 games this year. He was just claimed off waivers from Toronto. 0-3, high earned run average.
Gaviglio, boy, I'll tell you what, he pitched out there. He pitched his.
Whoa, he did.
3 hits. Avi with a triple in the right center. Frazier with a double out there, and then the little soft swinging bunt single by Anderson, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, he didn't make many mistakes. I think he only had 1 strikeout.
2 strikeouts.
2 strikeouts, yeah.
Yeah, you got 2 strikeouts and 1 walk.
And he worked quickly.
Yeah. So that's a nice outing for the rookie out of Miami. Two and two to count. Cabrera was grounded to second and lined out hard. That's out in front. And here's Abreu. He's going out to right, and he's grounded to second. Wimpy, the way we've been playing last year at this time, if you'd told me we were on the road, top of the sixth inning, And obviously, this is nothing against Robin. I love Robin. And as I said before, everything we say positive about Renteria, a lot of people misconstrue that as being negative against Robin.
Right.
But that's just the way baseball is.
Sure.
Okay? You know it, and I know it, but that's the way it is. Last year, though, we wouldn't have felt very good. But now we feel like we still come back.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference.
Well, they certainly have the firepower to do it. They have the ability to do it. If you keep fighting, scratching, something good might happen.
And they've been doing it. Those 2 games we won at the end, before we came out here against San Diego, we came from behind both of them.
Leury Garcia with a bruised right elbow, so that's where it hit him. Thought it hit him in the back.
Day to day.
Wow. Ooh, that was nasty. 92-mile-an-hour sinker that Jose Abreu swung right over the top.
So here is Avi. Avi's grounded to third, then tripled. And it was fun watching that big man haul it all the way around to third. Getting that hole. Segura.
Look at this.
Can't get him.
My goodness, that's some
Great
kind
effort.
of player. How the heck can you trade him, Arizona? I mean, anybody out, normal guys out on that play. Avi can fly down the line. I mean, he doesn't run good for a big man. He just runs real, real good. And the throw is a gem, too. Look at him. Slip sliding away and almost pulled it off. 2 hits now for Abisail Garcia.
That's off the plate. Come on, Todd. He should have been mistaken. Take him out of here. Todd 1 for 2. That double back in the second inning. Nice little pick right there by Ruiz.
He's done that a few times in his career. Tell you what, that was a key walk to Ruiz last inning, just getting back, because you were hoping that Segura wasn't going to get a chance to hit. Kobe would pitch the heck of a ball game. It's not going to reflect in the stats. But he had 2 outs, nobody on when all that bad stuff happened last inning. Good swing there on 2-1. He gave himself a chance.
There is Rick Riz, one of the fine broadcasters in baseball.
Oh,
His
yeah.
32nd season. with Mariners. And he is a terrific guy as well. That's the chopper foul. And there's Dave Sims, another terrific broadcaster. Also working with him, who we haven't seen, Mike Blowers, former player.
Yeah, Mike's there. Saw Mike earlier.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
Yeah. There's Mike Blowers.
There's Michael. I'll tell you what, he was a good, you talking about a guy that could hit 3-0. He was a good 3-0.
Yeah, he was a good high fastball
hitter. Yes, he was.
That's what I remember about Mike Blowers.
A lot of guys can't hit 3-0. He was a good.
Yeah.
When they gave him the green light on 3-0, he very seldom missed it.
He was a good player for these guys.
Yes, he was.
Ooh, that's Casey Lawrence got some run to that fastball. He's getting inside on the right-handers. Some late movement. He got that little funky arm action there. And here's Todd trying to pull those hands in. Trying to short arm him right there. Just got a piece.
Tell you what, there's an art to hitting with short arms. A lot of guys, as you just mentioned, try to pull their hands in. That is not how you try to hit with short arms. You take your. As that ball hit hard into right field, came in, now goes back, recovers, and makes the catch. The hang with him right there. Dead gummit. Anyway, it is still 4-0 Seattle. Sox Farm Report presented by Ozinga. Adam Engel, 294. He's got a chance, Wimperoo.
Oh yeah.
Adam's got a chance. We got. I'm telling you what, since I've been here, by far, not even close, by far, the best young talent we've ever had in my 30+ years.
Well, that's great. Sox. That's great to hear. You know what, you got to trade some great talent to get that young talent.
Bo and I were talking about it in spring training. We did the one game there, and Bo has been with us a long time now, you know, and he goes to spring training as a guest instructor, and he said the same thing. He said, Hawk, I've never seen this much talent here. As that ball into left center field, that's a piece of cake. So Seager's retired. And here is Valencia. He's popped up to right, and then he had a high towering fly ball in the left field that Cabrera went back, timed it perfectly, and made the catch. taking a home run away from him. I didn't see that angle of it, Wimpy. You said it would have been out of the park.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He got over the fence. Now, Melky's not the tallest guy in the world. I thought this guy was a good acquisition by the Mariners, too. I think that Jerry DiPoto has assembled what appears to be a good all-around ball club. You know, Valencia had a pretty good year with Oakland last year, hit over 20 home runs.
They got the shift on. Sanchez now with 2 strikes, he'll move back over. There's Jerry DiPoto. GM.
Yeah, he was a pretty good pitcher. Cleveland, I remember him. Got him.
He gone.
What he's complaining about, the ball looked like it was right there. It's a fastball. Let's see. That's on the inside corner. Well, he's a long way from home plate. Isn't it amazing how the hitters today stand farther away from home plate than guys of our eras?
You had a ton of guys. I'm older than you are, but going back when I first started and got to the big leagues, you had a ton of guys standing around on top of the plate.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And now,
I've talked to a lot of hitting coaches. We'll go into a town and a hitting coach, I'll be by the cage, and he'll come up and we'll start talking hitting. And he'll say, what do you think about, Jimmy Jones or Sammy Smith, whoever on his club that he's talking about? And I'll tell him, I say, in my opinion, if you can get him to stand closer to the plate. He said, Hawk, I've tried that, and he just won't do it.
It's amazing, yeah.
He said, I've tried that. I don't know how many times that's what the response has been. I've tried it, but they just won't do it. A lot of guys can't stand close to the plate.
Right, and well, you've said this a number of times, too, and I've always remembered this, that if you're going to stand, the open stance now is becoming really, really popular. If you're going to have an open stance, say if you're a right-handed hitter, that right foot has got to be right on the line.
That's what determines how close you are to the plate.
Yes.
Is the back foot.
Yes, but now these guys with these open stances, that left foot, their front foot, is sometimes it's almost out of the batter's box sideways. And now the head has got to move dramatically to get to the hitting zone, and there's too much head movement.
You're 100% right. That back foot will determine how close you are to the plate. Not the front foot.
Right.
It's the back foot. As here's Boog, grounded to second. I know one thing. Here's the only way I can sum it up. Cooperstown is filled with guys who stood right on top of the plate.
Thank you. Because when you do, because you think about it, about 75 to 80% of the pitches are going to be away. So why not give yourself a chance to hit all those pitches, not restrict yourselves to a certain area?
As there is ball 4. So, yeah, but it's amazing how hitters today, in essence, don't want to buy into a lot of what hitting coaches say.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons being is money. A lot of these guys signing for huge signing bonuses. A lot of guys have already been here and making a lot of money. And they don't want, now they go into a funk, and they don't want to listen because they're not going to change, in their mind, what got them here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were talking about it earlier. And a lot of times guys don't need to change anything mechanical.
Right.
They need to change something in mental.
Yeah. The adjustment, and eventually it's going to come. It's going to be, sometimes you are doing something physically drastically wrong, but adjustment is the key to being successful.
Yeah, there are certain times. I know we have a guy on our coaching staff that was one of the strongest guys in baseball. And he had a move. He's a left-handed hitter. And he had a move when he was at the plate. His first move when he made his approach to the pitch was tried to get rid of it, couldn't do it, and consequently he did not fulfill anywhere near his potential.
Sure.
Because I've seen him hit balls over the roof at Old Comiskey Park, and that guy's name is Darryl Boston. He absolutely could hit as far as anybody. Darryl was a great prospect. He could run.
Oh yeah.
He could throw.
Oh, sure.
Oh man.
Great talent.
But he couldn't get rid of that one move. And I've seen a lot of guys that had that one flaw in their swing that couldn't get rid of it. And it obviously hurt them. There's a line shot caught. Timed it perfectly. And Motter, hang with him, kid. Meanwhile, it's still 4-0 as we go to the 7th. Homecoming weekend, Friday, May 26th to May 28th. That's when the Sox battle the Tigers. So homecoming weekend is presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. So to get your tickets, visit whitesox.com. This is one thing that I love about Ricky. He's even on the plains. He's even with some of our coaches, how he's trying to get some of our guys. First of all, let's just I'll give you an example. You've heard me say how many 1,000 times, before you can play a corner in the major leagues, third or first, you got to be able to get your behind down.
Yes.
Because it takes your eyes down.
Oh yeah.
There it goes. That's a good start right here. Anderson. Trips almost. And so Tim now with his 4th two-bagger.
He's got 2 hits tonight.
Yep. And that'll bring up Davidson. But you cannot play. The game is too fast at the major league level to play a stand-up first or third base.
Right.
You got to get your behind down. But the issue is you got to be in position to get your behind down. And if you don't get into position, you can't get it down.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. And a lot of guys don't teach how to get into position first. I saw Ricky on the plane coming out to Anaheim. And he was over there showing some of the coaches how he wanted our guys to react in certain positions with their first move. So I watched him for, I don't know, a minute and a half. And he finally stopped and he looked at me. And I said, I thought you were showing him how you were trying to get in position to make my catch when I threw out the first pitch the other day. He started laughing. Because
they have to really be in position for that one.
Yeah, I know it. Truth hurts sometimes.
That took a while.
Davidson with the 1-1.
Oh,
that's high and deep. Stretch! Stretch!
Go!
Stretch! He can't make it. It is a home run. You can put it on the board. Yes. And we are right back in this juego.
Well, he's strong. You're right. You said it earlier.
He
didn't hit that ball. He just missed it. And, you know, this is not known as a home run hitter's ballpark by any stretch of the imagination. Here's our Ford home run replay. He got a bit of a hanger right there, but it looked like he was a hair out in front of it. But he did take a full swing. And that was the key. And there you see the booger can't get there. Scraping the fence. Nice job by Matt Davidson. That's his 7th homer. 19 RBIs now.
He's got a chance. He's good. His mechanics are good. His swing is good. You don't have to work on those. And of course, with that home run, the Alex and Elias family, another beautiful donation to White Sox Charities and loving memory of Ursula. Keep it going. Omar, twice he has gone out to left field. Yeah, with Davidson, if a normal guy hits that ball, it's caught.
Yeah.
But his strength is abnormal. It's not like Avi Garcia's, or it's not like Abreu's, but it's close. That ball hit hard.
Man.
Figure's a good third baseman.
Yeah, he is.
1 out. But this is the way they are. They don't quit. They just keep coming at you. Like Sochi was talking about, he said, man, that's a different ball club. So here's Willie making his first plate appearance. Yuri grounded out to first, then he walked, picked up a stolen base, and in the 5th inning was hitting the right elbow. Actually, he hit himself in the right elbow.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he kind of just threw it out there as a protection device.
Yeah, he stuck his right elbow right into that pitch. If he'd missed it, poof.
Yeah, it's just kind of.
That's where you can see it.
Yeah. That hurts. That elbow, or just above the elbow. Oh, that's a tough call.
My whole career, I never got hit there in the elbow.
Really?
Got hit in the ribs a few times. But as you said earlier, describing him when it happened, you're better off getting hit in the ribs than you are in the elbow.
Oh, that hurts. Well, hopefully he's okay.
He'll be all right. He's a tough little dude.
Good movement right there, a 91-mile-an-hour sinker.
Willie right now, he's young, he's just 24 years old. He's strong as a bull. He can throw. He's got a chance, but he's got to learn how to cut the swing down.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah, looks a bit long.
Yeah, and it's long.
Oh boy.
Got him.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen much of him, but I'm right there. You know, he wraps that bat around his head pretty good, and then kind of see how right at the end he kind of like puts the knob of the bat towards the catcher, which is really going to lengthen that swing.
Yes. Yes, when he goes this way.
Yeah.
Rico Cardi was one of the few guys that could go that way, and Julio Franco and still
exactly. Exactly. Well, Dick Allen kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about Dick.
Yeah. That's hard to hit that way. It's hard to be consistent.
You got to be super strong.
Yeah.
Not strong as a bull. You got to be super strong.
Right.
There's Yomer. 0 for 3. Got that 6-game hitting streak going for him. $17,757.
Nice changeup right there off of that sinker. That was 83. His fastball topping out about 91. So good arm action too on that pitch by Lawrence.
The 2-2. Well, that's going to extend the streak.
How do you do that?
It's a Kansas City special. What do you mean? You were good at that.
Not on that pitch. It was off his shoe tops. He was completely fooled by a. There's that changeup again. Look at that. That ball is going to be in the dirt. Well, we said, what did Abreu hit that homer of 1.35 feet? I think that was lower than that.
So David Novak's picked a click, extends that streak to 7. And here is Cabrera.
And Melky's hitting some tough luck today. He's hit the ball hard twice, but he's 0 for 3.
First and 30 for Abreu. Melky.
If you can get Abreu up this inning, you really got a chance. The Sox have out-hit the Mariners tonight, 7-5. That big 3-run homer, though, by Gene Segura, who is becoming some kind of player. He's got a 17-game hitting streak now.
That's off the plate. And the count 2-0.
There's the changeup. Great location. But that's something you certainly don't want to swing on 2-0.
Well, the veteran catcher
out.
Carlos Ruiz thought it was way low as far as he pulled that pitch.
Yeah.
There he goes. Pick up the ball. No, not with 2 out. And that'll do it. But the 2-run homer by Matt Davidson. And it's a 4-2 ball game. #1 mobile app for live White Sox baseball. Now you can stay connected with a fully customizable experience. You can get White Sox home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game, video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today.
We've got a pitching change for the Sox. David Holmberg coming on, has done very well in 5 games. No record, 1.42 earned run average in 6 1/3. He's given up only 3 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. His job is to hold them right there, and maybe the Sox can mount a charge with 6 precious outs to go in this ball game.
So here's Dyson. He's been our nemesis.
Oh, man.
He has homered, he has singled, he's picked up 2 stolen bases, and he has scored twice. That speed with Covey, who pitched well tonight again.
Yeah.
That speed, though, broke his rhythm. Worried about him, went over there a few times. Then they just gave him third base, and by that time, the rhythm was broken, and Segura had hit him out of here.
Yeah.
As you know, Wimpy, a lot of times it doesn't have to be a physical rhythm. It can be a mental rhythm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's 3-0, and you know he's taken here. He wants to cause some more havoc on those base paths.
Three and one.
It should actually be 2-2. This pitch right there at the knees, bottom of the strike zone. Yes, sir.
Full count. Gap out there, huge gap. And that's a gap big enough for a possible inside the Parker.
Man. Yeah, with that speed.
Boy, take it yourself. Nice backhand.
Woo.
And a good comeback by David.
Look at Ruiz's numbers, 125 batting average, but he has 2 walks tonight, and he really set the stage with 2 outs for Segura to be the hero when he walked back in the 5th inning for a 3-run, and that set up the 3-run homer.
Takes first pitch strike. Four 5-0 for them, 2 7-0 for us.
Nice changeup right there.
That swing by Ruiz, I tell you, that was a good one.
Oh yeah. He didn't like the ball down there, from what I've seen him over the years.
Count hangs at 1-2. First of 4. And this is the 4th of a 10-game road trip. We had the 3 in Anaheim. We're going to have 4 here. Finish it off with 3 in Phoenix.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks are playing good baseball now. Boy, they got that Goldschmidt. He's fun to watch. That first baseman.
He's a player.
Yeah, he is. Oh!
Almost jumped a little too quick. Meanwhile, he was able to hang, make the catch. 2 down.
That is exactly right, Hawkaroo. That is called hang time.
Look at that. He jumped way early, but was able to stay in the air. Pretty amazing. Great athleticism right there by Tim Anderson.
Yeah, it is. He's got great athleticism. So here is Segura on a 17-game hitting streak.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if he led the league in hitting. Well, at Safeco Field this year, he's hitting .388, so he really likes hitting here.
To another the count. But you know,
387 is his batting average through this 17-game hitting streak. Of course, that big blow, the 3-run homer in the 5th, the difference in this game.
and let's go back to that home run that Wimpy just told you about.
That was in the 5th inning. There's a breaking ball that should have been called a strike, even though it was a hanger. And then he throws one down, and he went down with his, Hawksbit explained it, went down with his legs to get there, bend his knees. Looked a lot like Adrian Beltre of Texas Rangers, who is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yes, he is.
Good player. Oh, yeah.
Adrian Beltre is a Hall of Fame player. So here is Gamble. That was one of the things that the great Ted Williams used to be a big proponent of. And tell you to practice. On a low pitch, let your legs take you down. Don't bend over to waist. Let your legs take you down.
Bend from your knees, not from your waist.
Bend from your knees. That's what he said.
Yeah. That's what great hitters do. And
that's the reason I was always bending over at the waist.
and then you either push the bat through, so flare to right, or you roll over with the top hand.
Or you kill some worms out there in front.
Yep.
0-2. Nice little shift by Omar. He gone. Nice inning by David. And we'll go to the 8th. We need 2 to tie.
eclicklending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending, boom! Your mortgage just happened. And we've got a pitching change. Dan Altavella comes out. 1-1 record, one hold. He's got a 6-point earned run average, but he can punch you out. 17 strikeouts in 12 innings. He has a tendency to walk hitters. So his job's to hold the Sox right there. He's a 24-year-old right-hander, 5'11", 200 pounds. And talking to some of the Mariner people before the game, he's got a very sneaky fastball. It's 91, but it appears to the eye of the hitter to be quicker because of the way his delivery is.
Well, the eyes of the hitter are the real guns. So here is Abreu, then Garcia, then Frazier. 4-5-0 for them, 2-7-0 for us. There is ball one.
95.
Well, you faced guys before from the side, look like meat.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you get over at the plate, and ball's a foot and a half quicker.
That's true. Yeah.
That's into left field. Got in on him a little bit.
Just a hair.
So here's Avi. Avi is grounded to third, tripled, and had an infield single. Play that Segura made a tremendous effort. I mentioned this is the first of 4 here from Safeco. Tomorrow it'll be Jose Quintana against Ariel Miranda. Now that game will be over WGN.
Getting
the ball into right field, hanging up. So quickly, 2 gone.
As this game goes on, the Sox have been making some pretty consistent contact. Only 2 strikeouts in the game, but just not finding any holes.
The hitting is starting to come around. It's starting to come around. It's we're getting more good at bats.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, good at bats will produce that.
Right. And the way you get more good at bats is by thinking less mechanics. The less mechanics you think, the better chance you're having a good at bat is much greater.
And collectively as a team too, that it's huge.
Everything is contagious.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things
grind it.
One of the things that one of our people did, which I just absolutely, when I heard it, I was ecstatic. 2 strikes, choke up on the bat.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
2 strikes. There's a couple. Abreu doesn't do it, but most of the guys, when they get 2 strikes, that ball hit high and deep. He just looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes, a bomb by the big man, and it's 4-3.
That away, Todd. Well, he created a little bit of hang time. Hockey stayed back on that slider. It's our 4th homer. Home run replay. There's the slider. A bit of a hanger. Kind of like almost, yeah, he almost one-armed that out there. Shows you how strong he is. Nice. Strong hands to get you out of there.
That's low to Anderson, who was lined to short, had an infield single. And then a double right down the left field line. So here come Ricky's boys. They don't give up. They don't quit. And we're talking about contagious. There's another thing that's contagious. Everybody having that feeling, hey, we're in this thing. Don't pack it in. We're not going to pack it in.
Yeah, and like you said, Hawk, they're putting together good at-bats consistently. Get a couple guys on and hit a bomb that way. Sox now with 8 hits on the ball game, but they've hit the ball consistently, lined out at least 4 or 5 times. Oh, how'd that miss him?
I don't know.
It's like one of those X-rays. You see the skeleton.
There's another athletic move.
Yeah, I don't know. I was bailing up here, I guarantee you there.
I know. I still flinch when I see like that.
Yeah.
After 40 years of broadcasting, every time I see a pitch like that, I flinch.
It's amazing how sometimes you get out of the way that you have no idea how you did it. I don't know if this guy's going to throw that slider again. Ooh. 99 on that one. He's a slinger too.
Yeah, he's got a lot of violence in that motion.
Yeah. Well, Timmy, you got to sit dead red right here. Put it in play.
That ball hit deep in the right
Get
field.
up.
Stretch!
Get up.
Stretch! He's back,
Yeah.
looks up. You can
Woo.
put it on the ball. Yes! And this ball game is tied at 4. Ricky's boys are coming back.
When you said it, what a great job of hitting by Tim Anderson. This guy's bringing it in the high 90s. And a 3-2 fastball out over the plate, and he just hit it perfectly. And once again, our Ford home run replay will show that. Fastball, outer third, not that bad of a pitch. And look at that. Hands before the barrel of the bat. He let it get deep a little bit and just railed it over that right center field wall. 3 homers tonight. Wow.
Third time back-to-back this year. The 3 homers. One by Davidson, one by Frazier, now back-to-back by Anderson. That 1 for 3.
Yeah, let's make it a trifecta. He
Close.
tried to. Boy, that ball came straight back at us. That meant he had a good pass at that one.
I'll never forget Wimpy and I doing it again at Tiger Stadium. He brought a glove with him up to the booth.
Yeah.
And he was hiding in the corner. You remember that?
Yeah, that blew up my microphone, too. One
Yeah.
of those mortar shells that came in there.
You can't get it up there. Not at 98.
Yeah. Well, you could hear what they were saying at home plate. It was, you were so close.
Yeah,
to Tiger
they're in
Stadium.
Fenway Park, in the old Fenway Park booth.
Ernie Harwell, the great Ernie Harwell, said he put chicken wire out there because he was chicken. Here comes another shell at us. He's getting some good swings. Here's his last at bat, Matt Davidson. Got a slider, and he knew what to do with it. Didn't quite get it all, but was just enough to get over that left field wall. 9 hits now for the Sox, 3 of them big flies.
1-2. He did not go.
That was his best slider right there.
Four 9-0 for us, 4-5-0 for them.
Well, 3-2. Saw what Tim Anderson did with a 3-2 pitch just moments ago.
Got him. Back-to-back homers by Todd Frazier. And Tim Anderson. And this game is tied at 4.
A 1.8 earned run average. Look at the strikeouts. My Lord, 27, just 4 walks. He can really punch you out. There's Todd.
Back-to-backs, Todd and Tim. You gotta be careful of this guy. He is red hot.
Oh boy.
He's 0 for 3 tonight, but he has hit it hard twice. And he is a big-time home run hitter. That ball hit hard. Hang up for him. Can't make the play. So leadoff single.
Well, he had a rocket. I think they got that one just a little bit off the end of the bat hawk, and that's why it didn't carry out there to Garcia. He didn't get the greatest of jump, but he does a nice job of blocking that ball. When you see a big guy take a big swing like that, you almost think it's going to go over your head.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah.
And first of all, you have a tendency to play a few steps deeper anyway with Nelson Cruz at the plate.
Sure.
And then when he swings that bat, you definitely have that tendency. Strike at 97. Seager grounded to third, grounded to second, and flied to left.
Vincent, the bearded one, warming up for the M's in their bullpen. A lot of guys getting a chance to pitch in the big leagues now. These injuries.
Vincent. Oh, yeah. He gone.
Is that a splitter right there?
Change.
Change up at 92?
Yeah.
That's nice to have.
Oh, he can hit 100.
Yeah.
Tommy
Yeah.
can.
Oh, yeah. You can see the ball was held back in the back of his hand. 92-mile-an-hour changeup. So that's about 8 miles off of 100. Yeah. That's a good ratio. Gives the hitter absolutely no chance because you see that ball out of his hand. It looks like it was a low strike.
Yeah. So here is Valencia. Remember Brian Harvey, remember him?
Oh, yes.
That man throwing 94, 95 mile an hour splitter. He didn't come with that 90 mile an hour change.
That was the one guy that Big Frank, I don't think, really liked to hit off.
Nobody did.
Yeah, he was filthy. And watch right here. Valencia is going to swing hard in case he hits it on 2-0.
The old Don Zimmer theory.
What a wonderful baseball man.
Oh,
what
boy.
a great guy.
Oh, boy. Papa Sue and his wife, what a couple they were. He just missed that one.
Lordy.
He just missed that one. 32nd of an inch, and that ball's in the upper tank. Meanwhile, 2 down. The Sox fans, you win with Papa John's Pizza all season long. Now, the day after the Sox win, you get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com. Now, when you use the promo code SOXWIN, you get that. And that's valid at participating Papa John's locations. So better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Here's Boog. Of course, you youngsters out there was another guy called Boog Powell, big first baseman for Baltimore Orioles. Was a wonderful, wonderful player, terrific, big man. What did Boog go? 260?
At least.
Yeah, at least.
But he was a great defensive first baseman.
I was getting ready to say, but he could play.
Outstanding. And he had unbelievable power the opposite way. That left center field and right center.
He had one of the greatest series I've ever seen against us in Kansas City. We had a 3-game, I think it was a 3-game series. He went to the plate, I think, 13 times and he had 13 line drives.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I think I ever saw that. He gone.
Get your red hats.
We're into the ninth, tied at 4.
Moments. Highlights of the ball game came last inning. Here's Todd Frazier getting a breaking ball, depositing it into the left field stands. So that made the score 4-3. But then Tim Anderson on a 3-2 fastball away did a great job of hitting. And look how happy Timmy is. I would be too. That was a great job of hitting on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So a new pitcher comes in. His name is Nick Vincent. 1-1, 2.84 earned run average, 19 innings, 15 hits. Well, he's got good control, 3 walks only with 16 strikeouts. He is 30 years old, 6 foot, 187. From Poway, California.
And here is Omar Narvaez. Takes one at the top of the zone, had part of the zone, but it's called a ball. He is 0 for 3. Seager made a real good play on him his last at bat. Hard hit ball. That's low. 2-1. I'm glad you mentioned that a while ago when Seager made that good play about Adrian Beltre. I'll tell you that he's been, in all my years in this game, he's been one of the most fun guys to watch play.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And one of the best clutch hitters. Ball hit sharply, but an out.
Another good at bat. He worked the count in his favor, got a nice pitch to hit, and hit it hard. That's all you can do.
That'll bring up the top of the order. Willie Garcia. Now Willie did not start. He's had one at bat, struck out. He came in when Leury got hit or hit himself in the right elbow.
You know, based on what we were talking about Willie Garcia in his last at bat, Hawk, I'd say you'd have to say that he's got a slider speed bat right now.
That is into right field.
Did pretty good.
Well, he's got the talent. The talent is no question. He's got the, you know, he's been in baseball. He's 24 years old. He's been in baseball 8 years, professional baseball. So quickly 2 gone, and that'll bring up Omar. He's 1 for 4. That one hit has extended his hitting streak now to 7 games. Outfield straight up, spread out. Close to being equidistant. It will. Check a few quick scores for you here. Kansas City beat Joe Girardi's Yankees 5-1 at Kauffman Stadium. Toronto shuts out Atlanta 9-0. Stroman 4-2 the winner. That little man has got some good stuff.
Real good stuff.
Milwaukee over San Diego 4-2. Cubs beat the Reds 9-5 at Wrigley. Cubs now 21-19. Leicester 2-2. That's up high. Texas doubled up the Phillies 8-4. Down at the ballpark at Arlington. Minnesota 2. Rockies nothing. I mentioned Maurer said the reason that Minnesota now is 20 and so actually 1917 when he was quoted, but he's 20 and 17 now is because he said we're catching the ball. First rule in baseball, two biggest rules. You heard me say this a lot in baseball. First rule is got to catch the ball, and the next rule is don't mess with Joe West.
It's Cowboy Joe West, isn't it?
Nope. Colorado in the first game won it 5-1, so they split a doubleheader. Pitch was off the plate. Tigers beat Baltimore 6-5 at Comerica. Pittsburgh over Washington 10-4 at PNC. Dodgers leading Miami 5-2, top of the 8th in Los Angeles. Ground ball right to Segura. All right, got to hold them. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Is a 4-4 tie. Schedule presented by Travel Wisconsin, who reminds you to have some fun. There you see. Tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday right here from Safeco Field. And then we'll finish this 10-game road trip off down at Phoenix against the D-backs. And that is our Travel Wisconsin upcoming schedule. Pitching change right here. Dan Jennings coming on for Tommy Canley, who Tommy, well, in essence, just came in and blew him away. Dominated.
Oh yeah, that's some vicious stuff. My goodness.
Yeah, he's got terrific stuff. That changeup is really. Last year, he was very ineffective throwing 100. He was 2-0-3-1, and you know you don't care how hard a guy throws if he's going to be 2-0-3-1 and he's only got one pitch.
Yeah.
Now a different story. Different.
Boy.
He's a different. You could see it right off the bat. A different. I asked him after the second time he went out this season. I asked him. I said, Tommy. He said. I asked him. I said, what are you doing? I said, you're a different guy. He goes, I like where I'm at.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Huh?
Taylor Motter, second baseman. Taylor is lined hard to center, grounded to third, and lined hard to short. Then Anderson made a very athletic leap and hanging to make the catch. That's going away. shot base hit. That's a perfect approach against a left-hander for a right-handed hitter. Beat him arm side.
He got a pitch exactly what he wanted to do. Looked like it was a bit of a hanging slider. Let that ball get a little bit deep. Boy, head behind the ball very nicely there. And here comes Gerard Dyson in what you would think would be a bunt situation.
He has faced Jennings 5 times.
1 hit, so
yeah,
this should be bunting right here. Trying to get that runner to second for Ruiz and Segura.
This is where, when I was playing first base, in this situation or the scenario, bottom of the ninth, tie ball game, leadoff man aboard, I'd go over to the pitcher and say, give me a quick step off first. Give me a quick step. I want to see what he's doing. I want to see what the hitter's doing, because you know yourself, 99 times out of 100, a quick step off is going to get a commitment from the hitter to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And even that'll do it a lot of times.
Yeah,
just a soft toss over first.
Yeah,
just a movement.
Bit.
Just any kind of movement.
Yeah.
Todd was looking for it. He got it. He came running in as soon as he tossed it over there. Outfield around to the left. Big gap in right center. Time is called. Yeah, you can't blame the umpire right there, because Dan was taking a lot of time in that set. So
absolutely. It's a 2-stroke penalty, isn't it? Double hit.
Yep.
Of course, I would never call it on myself. I'd call it on you.
Oh, man. Whippy bring back so many memories. It's unbelievable. I'll tell you.
What are they, nightmares?
Oh, Dyson homered, singled, scored twice, stole 2 bases. Again, continues to do everything when he plays against us well. All right, you got a shot at it. Yes. Good quick play by Dan. Good quick play by Jennings.
And you kind of wondered if Danny was going there on his own, or Omar gave him a second 2-2-2, yelling it out. Well, that was as quick as you could do. That was a great job.
That was.
That Mata was running quickly. He was fast. Well, that sets the stage for Dyson, though. He's not out of it yet. He's still running at first base, and he's leaving one of these pitches.
Yes, he is. He gone. He is going to run. He's got a good lead. He always gets a good lead. One of the better lead getters in the league, and even against left-handers. But right here is where pitchers just have to take charge, take that sense of control away from Dyson. Maintain some sort of rhythm. Don't let that speed get you all discombobulated.
Now you got to throw a strike. Ruiz has already worked 2 walks.
Well, that's the greatest, to me, the 2 greatest places in the lineup to hit is behind, you know, Miguel Cabrera. I hit in front of Miguel Cabrera, or in front of Albert Pujols, or hit behind a speedster who gets on base.
Oh, yeah.
1 out. Dyson. Tremendous speed at first. And the 2-0 pitch. That was close there. That front foot.
Yeah. He's going to have to throw it sooner or later, and of course he's behind in this count 2-0 with a very dangerous hitter on deck.
That speed does.
Yeah.
Intimidates pitchers. That's why you get guys like Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan, Hall of Famers, of course, but they didn't care. They let him steal second.
Yeah.
Let him steal third. He's not going to score.
Yeah. Yeah, Maddox was about as bad as anyone at holding anybody on. He didn't care.
Yeah. He didn't let it upset his rhythm.
Yeah. Great call.
There's one.
I gotta think he's taking another one here, trying to get Segura to the plate. I think he'll take here, and he'll be running on 3-2 with 1 out.
Count 3-1. I'm with you. I thought for sure he'd be taken. With Segura on deck.
Yeah, trying to get the bat in the hands of the best hitter in baseball, right in the American League anyway. Well, Dyson should be running on this 3-2, 1 out, staying out of the double play.
He didn't have to get a good jump. All he's got to do is just get a decent jump.
Yeah.
There he goes. And that's over into our dugout. Just joining us. They took the lead with 1 in the third. Then they scored 3 in the fifth. So they led it 4-0 going to the seventh. Anderson doubled, and then Matt Davidson hit a towering drive for a 2-run homer. Then in the 8th inning with 2 out, Frazier hit a bomb out of here to the left. And then Anderson hit a line shot in the seats and right to tie it at 4. Here he goes. They don't get him to second.
Yeah.
Todd just couldn't quite find the handle on it. Couldn't find the ears on it.
Yeah. Of course, with Dyson's speed, too. As he rolls over, you know you're going to get the runner at first, regardless of what happens at second. Dyson was running on the pitch.
Well, again, that's so Segura's put on.
Oh, yeah.
But there's the intimidation of speed. As you're an infielder, I mean, that speed causes you to do things you don't ordinarily do. by trying to speed up too fast.
Oh, we're going to have a pinch hitter.
So Heredia will be the pinch hitter. Here comes Coop. Guillermo Heredia. Chris Beck, he's loose. Kurt Hassler, bullpen coach. Boy, our bullpen this year won't be. Well, you watched a lot of games. You know how good it's been.
Yeah.
I mean, and with 3 injuries, you know. Trichka, you know, went down. That's a big loss. Jones, that's a big loss.
Right.
And Putnam, that's a big loss. So Ricky's been having to mix and match down there out of the pen, and they've still been getting the job
Yeah.
done. And in case you're just tuning in, Steve Stone is not with me for this series. My former partner, my great friend, Wimperu Tom Pachorik will sit in for him. But right here is 2 on 2 out. And here is Heredia. Took that pitch nicely. Heredia has faced Jennings twice, and he has 1 hit. There's a strike.
Good slider. Late breaker, even though it was right over the middle of the plate.
Dylan Covey started with 6. Bloomberg came in and did a fine job for a minute. Kane came in and did a fine job. And now Jennings. Big pitch right here. The 1-1. And this ball game is over. All right, it's a tough loss, Wimpy, but our guys, they just keep coming back.
They really did. You know, I just looked up at the board, Hawk, and already was hitting .390 against left-handed pitching, so he's matched up well against Jennings. But you're right, it was a great comeback. It was a heck of a ball game, a fun game to watch. Unfortunately, the bad guys won. Yeah, he got a hanging breaking ball right there and did a nice job of depositing it to right center, exactly what you're supposed to do with that pitch. There ain't no chance of getting Dyson. That's like a world-class sprinter coming around third base. So,
well, he scored 3 runs.
Yeah.
Tonight, he always. I'm telling you, it's amazing, Dyson, how productive he is and has been in that Kansas City uniform and now in the Mariner uniform.
Yeah.
All right. So for my partner, Tom Pachorik, our Hall of Fame director, Jim Angio, our producer, Keon Dolashahi, our associate producer, Dave Ross, the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr., for our great technical manager, Mark Harper. Also for John Wittig, Josh Blythe, Chase Jensen, one of the best crews in the American League. This is a Hawk. So long, everybody. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago.